Oh, and so when they email Juan, he can help with issues like when they email ESLC, he can help with issues around not being able to hear and that sort of thing. Okay, shall we start?
I think so. I don't like this.
Thank you,
I'm
Erica.
actually going to probably drop it.
Are you? You have to keep it because otherwise it won't come through on the recording.
I know, but like I'm clumsy.
Oh, you're going to drop it
No,
by
I'm not
accident.
gonna like
I thought you meant-
drop. No, I'm gonna accidentally drop.
Okay. Okay, let's get started.
Hello, everybody.
Good afternoon. Hi.
Hi.
Oh,
Most
good.
lively crowd we've had all youth starts. I
Yeah.
got some waves.
That's awesome. That's great.
Thank
Good.
you.
So let's start with introducing ourselves as more people trickle in. If we're missing anyone, you don't need to know who we are really, but I'll start. My name is Erin DeLathauer, and I've been working at the university for about 12 years. I work in the College of Arts and Science as manager of student recruiting and strategic partnerships, but I've worked all over campus in the past 12 years. So I have a lot of answers to a lot of questions that you all might have. You can feel free to ask any questions either during the session or after the session. For those who are tuning in from elsewhere, hopefully you can hear me and my colleague.
My name is Megan. I also work for the College of Arts and Science. I coordinate learning communities and first-year programs in the College of Arts and Science. I graduated from Arts and Science in 2014. I've been an academic advisor. I was an academic coach. And now I work with first-year students, and I love it.
We also have, are you done? Sorry, I wasn't sure.
I think so.
Cut you off there. We also have with us in the audience, who are, with their laptops open, some student care advisors, an academic advisor, and a learning community summer student, or expert, as he'd prefer to be called, all sitting with laptops open. And they have their laptops open because they're answering questions coming in from others who are live streaming in. So we do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people answering questions. And, oh, 6 people, Linda's in here too. Linda is from STM, St. Thomas More College. She's going to be talking a little bit more about STM throughout the sort of later on in the presentation. What else do I have to mention? We're recording this session so that people who couldn't make it to UStart will have the opportunity to view it afterwards. So we'll probably make a lot of mistakes because that's what happens when recording. So that's okay. Welcome to the College of Arts and Science. All right. Why is my clicker not working? Oh, good. We're having technical issues today. Nor is this. Megan, why is nothing working? There we go. I'm going to have to do that. Good. So we like to think of the College of Arts and Science as a college of possibilities. And the reason for that is that there are a number of different areas of study, over 60, 21 departments in our college. So everything from the Department of Biology or the Department of Math to the Department of Philosophy or the Department of Art and Art History. We have lots and lots of things that you can study. We're the largest college on campus with over 9,000 students. So on campus we have just over 20,000 students. So we're almost half of the student population in arts and science. We're the only college of its kind in Western Canada. And what I mean by that is that there are some universities out east, like U of T, for example, University of Toronto, that have one college or faculty of arts and science. But in Western Canada, that's not very common. So we're quite unique. And I think it's because we're such an old university that we put our arts and sciences together. And we believe really strongly in this college in having a wide breadth of experiences and a diverse education that's going to set you apart when it comes time to looking for a job when you're done. So we have lots of different programs as well. Because we have arts and sciences and fine arts and music, et cetera, there are lots of interdisciplinary programs and opportunities. We have certificate programs. So if you're doing a degree in, say, physiology and pharmacology, and you might want to continue to pursue your love of music, you could do a certificate in jazz at the same time. They both work together. So we'll talk a little bit about that. We have lots of undergraduate research opportunities, which many, many students take advantage of in arts and science. Community engaged learning. We believe really strongly as an institution and certainly as a college to engage with the wider community of Saskatoon and even beyond in learning by doing. And we have study abroad opportunities too, which is a sort of a growing program in our college. We believe really strongly in students having the opportunity to study abroad, to travel abroad, and to acquire intercultural competencies that, again, are going to be key when it comes time to looking for a job after your degree is over. Our clicker's not working. I don't know why. We also like to introduce our college by introducing you to some of the people who recently graduated. We have here some young alumni recently graduated within the last, say, 10 years, doing all kinds of interesting things. And I'd like to put up some examples because I think it helps people see that even if you don't know what you're going to start out studying, or even if you say you want to start out studying one thing and change your mind halfway through, that's okay, that's normal. Oh, that what's on the screen is not normal. I don't know, do I approve this?
Oh.
I don't know.
Oh, no, no.
No, what do I do?
Abort.
How do I do that? Stop. Stop? Okay, there we go. Okay. Where was I? I'm totally interrupted. See, this is what happens when you're being recorded. We have students who meander a little bit. They discover who they are. They discover what their passions are. And they still end up doing really cool things. And in fact, they often end up doing really cool things because of that exploratory spirit. So here's some examples. Tom Milne started out in philosophy. Now he's a medical doctor. Carolyn, she studied bioinformatics. She knew pretty much what she wanted to do. She did some undergraduate research, and now she has a job as a researcher in pulse crop breeding and genetics, which is kind of neat. It's not something that you think about every day. Christina, computer science. She is not only a web app developer now, she also runs or works with a nonprofit organization that helps to bring programming skills to young girls. Michael, he started out in math, and now he's an artist. He actually runs a studio here in Saskatoon. Yeah, and Bree, another example, she started off in psychology, went into law, hated being a lawyer, and now she works as an access to justice coordinator, and is well known all over Canada. So that's some stories, some idea, thank you, of, oh thanks, next slide, of where you might end up. And you don't always have to know where you're going to start. One thing we do like to stress is that it's important to study what you're passionate about, regardless of where you want to go. This is just one of our featured award winners from our 2019 convocation that happened just last week. Devin started off as a music student, and now she's starting in the College of Medicine in the fall. She wrote, the College of Arts and Science allowed me to receive a well-rounded undergraduate education. Throughout my degree, I primarily improved as a music scholar and a musician, but I also had the freedom to take classes in other disciplines, which allowed me to discover new interests and academic passions that I will be pursuing in the future. So these are our brightest shining students, the ones who really take advantage of the breadth of opportunities and see the benefit in studying a wide range of things. Okay, this is what you can expect today. We're going to be looking at our most important resources, so things that you can look up after this session and feel comfortable knowing where you're going and what you're doing. We're going to be looking at program planning, so if you haven't yet done so, we will help you get ready to be prepared for that next Saturday registration date. Oh, I just gave it away. Oh well, you all knew that though. We're going to be looking at learning communities, which is a fantastic option for first-year students who are coming into any college, actually, at the university. It helps with transition, it helps with course registration, and so on. We're going to be looking at those. We'll look at supports on campus, which many of those you've already heard about, probably from Peter, but we will reinforce some of that information. And then we'll have time for questions and advising. Throughout the presentation, I'm just going to say one more thing. Throughout the presentation, for people who are tuning in from elsewhere, you can ask questions real time and your questions will be answered. For those of you here, if we run over time, we will be set up outside of the theater space answering questions after the presentation as well. So feel free to come and ask us questions. Okay. I'm going to turn it over to Megan.
Okay. All right, so our first resource that we'd like to share with you is the College of Arts and Science First Year Handbook. So the link here, that is just over my head, will take you to that first year handbook. So this would be your opportunity to go ahead and open that up because we do have an activity in the next slide where you'll need the first year handbook. So the first year handbook, we have the first year student checklist, so things that we think you should consider before starting on campus in the fall. We have important dates and deadlines, so that's really important. You can't just drop a class, you know, the last day before your exam and get money back. You know, we have dates that you need to be mindful of to pay your tuition, to drop classes, to add classes, all that. We have information about understanding your degree requirements, what all that means, what classes you take for each degree. Applying to another college, is anybody here not staying in the College of Arts and Science, going to nursing, medicine, dentistry, all that? Cool, half the audience. Well, we have the requirements for those colleges up on our website as well. On-campus resources, so we talk about the student services and supports. We talk about life outside of campus, you know, things that you can consider, you know, campus clubs, life outside campus, City of Saskatoon, and there's a whole bunch more. Next slide. All right, so we want you to go into the first year handbook, actually download the handbook, and tell me the last date to make registration changes, add or drop classes for fall term. If you have the answer, I'd like you to stand up because we do have a prize. Hi, what's your name? Ethan? Hi, Ethan, what's the date? Say it more confidently. You have the right answer. Cool. Did everybody hear that?
Yep. Good. It's important to remember those dates. And that first date is a really key one because you can not only drop classes and get 100% of your tuition back or before paying tuition, you can also add classes. And so that's really important. You might register up in classes, go for the first day or the first week and decide that even though you love this class, you're not really understanding the professor, you want to switch into a different section. We'll talk a little bit about that down the road, but it is important to bear that date in mind because any changes that are going to be made for this semester have to happen by September 17th. Perfect, good. Okay, I don't know. Yeah, click that. Good. Yeah, sure. We're also going to talk a little bit about the course and program catalog. So that first year handbook, now that you have it on your phones, don't forget about it. It's really useful. But the second most important resource available to you is the course and program catalog, which Megan's going to do a little demo of. How many of you have actually been to the course and program catalog already? Raise your hands really high. Okay, so good. A good majority, I would say, have been there. Excellent. Thank you. I don't know what that sound is about. I have no idea.
It's not on.
Is it me? I don't know. It is me. It's this thing. Is it out of batteries? Like, what's going on? Okay. We'll just hope that it goes away. Okay, so course and program catalog.
All right, so if I go to that USask homepage in the middle, can everybody see I'm clicking on current students? I'm going into that course and program catalog. So this used to be a print copy, but if you can imagine how big it would be and how much paper we would save, we decided to go online. So if I go in here, I'm clicking on colleges and schools. It'll give me all the colleges and schools at the University of Saskatchewan. Because we're in the College of Arts and Science, I'll click on Arts and Science, and then we have two options. I can go into the program list, which is what I'm going to do, but I want you to be mindful that there are academic policies and procedures. So for everything within the College of Arts and Science at the university, there's a policy and a procedure. So I'm going into program list, and these are the 60+ programs that Erin was talking about in the College of Arts and Science. Can anybody give me a program that we can explore? I saw your hand first. Biology, good choice.
All right. Computer science.
I heard computer science. We'll do two.
Yeah.
I'm feeling generous. Biology, here we go. So once I get into that course and program catalog entry, I get a brief description of what biology is. Down here, I have related programs, a few of the policies and procedures I talked about. But down here, I have the program options. So you'll see that biology has quite a few options. What program of study? We know biology, but specifically which one? Squint hard. I'll choose for you, okay? Let's do the Bachelor of Science 4-year. Yay. All right, so once we choose a degree, you'll notice though that we did have a 3-year, a 4-year, and honors, and I'll talk about that in a little bit, but we will talk about the 4-year degree. So within here, down here on this side of the screen, these are your degree requirements. So all arts and science degrees will have degree requirements that you need to satisfy in order to complete your degree at the end. So we chose the 4-year degree for the primary reason is because most students will access and do that 4-year degree. Employers are looking more commonly for a 4-year degree. A 3-year degree is more common for students who want to go off and do a professional college like law, nursing, things like that. So I didn't catch your name. Hi, Rebecca. So you would have a science requirement, 15 credit units. Does anybody know what a credit unit is? Rebecca does. Cool. What is it? Exactly. So each class has a credit unit associated with it. So we can tell 2 reasons. There's a 0.3 and sometimes there's a 0.6 at the end of each course. That is your credit unit. So for 15 credits, Rebecca would need to satisfy this by taking 5 classes. If I click on a course description, it will also tell me the credit units within that course description. So when I type in or I clicked on Biology 120, it tells me the subject, the credits. Rebecca now knows that this class is offered in Term 1 or Term 2. This class is 3 hours of lecture each week, and then 3 hours of lab in addition to that 3 hours. So this class in total is 6 hours in class. We're in the College of Arts and Science in the Department of Biology. Here is a description of the course. Here's some prerequisites for the course. So Rebecca would need to ensure that she's completed Biology 30, so grade 12 biology, in order to register in this class. And then some course descriptions will have a note. So it recommends that we have Chemistry 30, so grade 12 chemistry from high school, and some other important considerations. So if Rebecca was here, 20 years ago and took Biology 110, she couldn't take Biology 120. All right. We have a humanities writing requirement, a social science requirement, a math, and a general requirement. So even though we're here to study biology, maybe it's computer science, physiology, and pharmacology, we also require that you take courses outside of that discipline so that you can become a well-rounded student and get a broad education. Cool. Your major requirements, so this is the area of specialization. So you would take 36 credits in biology. You get some arts and science electives, so you get to pick and choose your own adventure down here. And that would be your 4-year biology degree.
It's important to note here as well that the way that this is outlined on your course and program catalog, it's not outlined in a linear way. We don't expect that you take all 5 of your first-year science requirements in first term. That's for sure. In fact, we would definitely not recommend. Yeah, I'm out. Thank you. It was the battery. We definitely wouldn't recommend that you take more than, say, 2 labs in 1 term. So you don't want to follow this from the top of the page down as though it's a linear path. Nothing in arts and science is linear. You'll want to take a number of courses from those top requirements. So some humanities, some social sciences, and some sciences in your first year. And by the way, doing so will prepare you well for taking any degree program in arts and science. You really can't make a mistake with your course selection in first year because anything you take will work towards any degree in arts and science. Okay, we have an activity. Do you want to talk about it?
Okay, there's so many cool people in here. I want you to meet somebody new. So I want you to stand up. Everybody, stand up, but don't talk so you can hear me. I want you to maybe go across the room, meet somebody new, share your name and one unique hobby or passion that defines you. And you have 2 minutes to do this activity. You have 30 seconds to wrap up your conversation.
For those of you who are participating from home, we're happy that you're introducing yourselves to each other online. That's wonderful. Get to know each other, exchange numbers, I don't know. Have fun, meet somebody new. Okay. And for those of you here, it's time to wrap it up. We don't have a whole lot of time, but hopefully you met somebody. So at this point, we want you to travel back to your seat and have a seat. And I won't turn the lights on and off because we know that that's kind of scary. It happened earlier. Okay, perfect. That worked. Oh, you want me to do it? Okay. Yeah, no, because you're going to go into the audience.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
I want to meet some new people. Can anybody introduce me to their new friends for a prize? Hello, I saw your hand. I'm going to come to you. Actually, how about you tell everybody? Okay. And she already has a certificate in youth and child and youth care, and now she wants to get more into psychology. So she's here to do a BA in psychology. Cool. And she loves reading. Oh, nice. Yeah.
So this is Hafsa. She has 2 children, and now her youngest is in full-time school, so she's coming back to do nursing eventually. So that's what we talk about. Her passion is her children. But now she gets to do something for herself as well.
You guys want USBs or cutlery? Why are we laughing? Yeah, I think the cutlery too. Cool. Thanks. I like that. Okay, back here. Hello, I'll come to you. Hi. Okay. Is that me? I'm sorry.
So, this is Brody. He likes to nap. That's what he told me. He also likes someone's sweater over there. Yeah.
Okay. Oh. No, it's your turn. Hi, Brody.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Yes.
Okay, talk.
Do I have to?
Who is that?
Blanking now because you put me on the spot, so I forgot her name. Oh, Brianna? Is that it? Okay. Well, I don't really remember much because I'm not very social. So I just know she likes the Blue Jays because she was talking to Talon about it. So I'm Talon. Hello. That's Talon. Yes, thank you.
That was fun. Okay. Nice to meet you, new friend. Aaron, what's our next slide?
So I've got somebody going to get batteries for the microphones. Okay, we're having good luck here today. So I want to talk a little bit now about planning your semester. There are just some points that we want you to bear in mind. First of all, who knows when the registration date is? Yeah, sure. The 15th. At what time? 9 a.m. 9 a.m. on the 15th. That's right. So prior to then, so you have about a week, you are going to want to plan out your term 1 and your term 2 schedules, okay? You're going to want to think about whether or not you're a morning person or a night person, whether or not you want to avoid 8:30 classes because you just know that you're going to end up sleeping in, or if you're most alert in the morning, because you will have a chance to kind of pick sections to some degree around time of day. You're going to want to know how many classes you want to take. So 30 credit units is full time. It's a full course load. So that's, as you can see, 5 classes per term. That's considered a full course load. Now, if you did 30 credit units, 5 classes per term for 4 years, how many credit units would you have? 120. So you'll get a prize. Okay. Okay. So 120, exactly. And now what I always say to students When they say, okay, I think I want to do a 4-year degree, I say, no, that's not really a 4-year degree. That's a 120 credit unit degree. And the reason why I say that is because I think students think that a lot of times that a 4-year degree has to be done in 4 years. It doesn't. You could do a 4-year, in fact, most people don't complete a 4-year degree in 4 years. Perfect, batteries, thank you. You want to put them in there? Okay, thank you, Juan. Okay, we've got batteries. So that means that a lot of students choose not to take a full course load in their years. You can still be considered a full-time student even if you're not taking a full course load. So if you're taking 3 classes, or how many credit units? 9 credit units, 9 credit units per term, you're considered a full-time student for the purposes of student loans, for pretty much any purpose, you're considered a full-time student. So you're going to want to think, am I working a part-time job? Are some of the classes that I'm taking classes that are 6 hours, i.e. including labs? Am I making sure that there's some time in my weekly schedule for self-care? Have I thought about how much time outside of class I need to spend on each class? And I can tell you that for every hour that you're inside of a lecture hall or a lab on campus, you're going to want to spend 2 to 3 hours outside of the lecture hall or the lab on that class. So when you're planning your schedule, you're going to want to think about that. Once you plug it all in, you're going to see that this is a full-time job. And I can tell you from years of experience working with students, if you treat it that way, if you fill in your day, even though it looks like you have a lot of breaks in there, if you fill it in with time in the library and you spend 2 to 3 hours outside of class for every hour you're inside of class, you will be successful. It's really hard to do, but that is really the answer to being successful in university. So it requires good time management skills. That's one of the skills that you're gaining as a university student. Okay, so 18 credit units a year is full-time? Yes?
Can it be done earlier than 4 years?
Yes, you can, absolutely. You could. And the way to do that would be to take spring and summer classes. If you're an excellent student and you've taken, I don't know, there's a policy around this and I don't remember exactly what it is, you are sometimes able to get a course limit increase. Is that what it's called? Credit unit increase, so you can take more than 5 classes in a term, but that's unusual and it certainly won't happen in your first year. You have to kind of prove that you're you know, able to handle it. So what I always recommend to first-year students is, you know, take 4 classes in your first term. Or take 5, but remember what day you'd have to drop 1 or 2 of those by. What's that date? 17th of September, exactly. So you're going to want to kind of balance things out a little bit, especially your first term. You're going to want to see, okay, what is this going to take? How much of my time is this actually going to take? Can I manage my part-time job? Can I manage my own mental health? Because it can be a real jump, a real transition, so we want you to think about that when you're planning out your semester. I think that's everything from this slide. And if there are other questions, feel free to raise your hands as you come up with them. Program planning. Okay, so when it comes to choosing your major, we want you to think about a few things. Everyone knows what a major is. It's the discipline that you're going to take the most classes in your degree. Usually you get into your major requirements in your upper years, in second year. So really first year is a year to explore and have fun and take classes that look cool and interesting. You're going to want to think about what your passion is. I can't tell you how many times I've advised students who knew exactly what they were going to do when they came to university and did something completely differently within a year or 2 years or 3 years of being here. I always say to students who are just coming to university for the first time or just coming to post-secondary straight out of high school, take the summer to think about what you're interested in, what passions you have, what problems in this world do you want to solve? Because there sure are a lot of problems in the world, and if you start there with what problems you want to solve, you're going to end up with a degree that's going to get you a job that's going to help contribute to solving those problems. So think about that. Think about those big questions this summer. Consider how your hobbies are connected to your goals. There might be a way in which you can study something that you're needing to get to where you want to go in terms of your career, but also study something that is interesting to you and connected to your hobbies. Maybe you've always wanted to be a photographer. You can take a class in photography and that will count towards your arts and science degree. So think about those ideas. We encourage students to declare a major. It doesn't have to be your major, a major. Declare a major and change your mind 1,000 times. It doesn't matter. We want you to declare a major because we want you to have some direction. It doesn't have to be the ultimate place where you end up, but we want you to think about, well, what are you thinking about studying? Maybe. Maybe it's biology. Maybe you change to bioinformatics in a year. Who knows? Okay. Explore the possibilities. That's the big takeaway here. It doesn't matter what courses you choose. You really can't go wrong in your first year. Any courses you take will work towards any arts and science degree. So don't forget that and have fun with it, right? When you're shopping around for classes, make sure you're having some fun with it. I promise you, university classes are a heck of a lot better than high school ones. So look at the course descriptions. Yeah. Oh, it does. Wonderful. Okay. Here we go. Take a class that piques your interest. Here are some examples. Photography, pop culture, cinema in Japan. You could take that. Gender and popular music. Introduction to Peace Studies. Like, that's pretty cool. Greystone Singers. If we have anyone who's a music person or in band or in a singing group in high school, you can continue your hobby for credit at the university. Take a class that will develop transferable skills, right? There's lots of them. There's critical thinking, which is Philosophy 140. This class will help you with things that you're going to be needing in every university class. Logic, thinking about writing a clear and valid argument. Fallacies, what's a fallacy? This will help you in every area of your life, really. Writing for academic success. There's another skill. If you're not quite sure about your writing skills, you can take a class for credit that will help you to improve those writing skills. Acting. Who would have thought acting would be a fun and practical class, but I always recommend it to anyone who's going to be up on stage, whether they're going to be a teacher or presenting, maybe they want to be working in business. It is so useful to take an acting class, and it's fun, unless you're not very social. In which case, you probably should take an acting class because it helps you get out of your comfort zone. I was not very social either, so okay. Consider classes that you might want to take in the future. So think about prerequisites, not in terms of the prerequisites you need for your first year classes, because you probably have them. But think about classes that maybe you want to take in second year. Like maybe you really want to take a philosophy class, but there's no room for it in first year, right? Look at second year philosophy classes and you'll see, I just picked that example because I know, you'll see that you don't actually need a first year philosophy class to take a second year one. You just need 18 credit units at the university level. So not all disciplines are like that, but some are. So if you're thinking, oh, I really want, like here's my schedule, I've got all the classes I need, but I really wanted to take that other class, look and see what the prerequisites are and plan backwards a little bit. Right, what else? Consider whether you want to study abroad in the future. Like I said, we like to encourage students to think about taking a semester abroad. If that's something you're interested in, you're probably going to want to save some of your elective courses, probably 15 credit units of your elective courses for your study abroad experience so that you know that your classes that you're taking in Finland will transfer back. Okay. Applying to another college.
All right, so the college, just kidding. The University of Saskatchewan has a number of direct entry colleges, so these are colleges you can get to right out of high school. So they include, they're all here at lunch today, Edwards, School of Business, Engineering, Kinesiology, Agriculture, and Education. So some of you may also be interested in these colleges, maybe after a term, a year, maybe even after a degree in the College of Arts and Science. You can get into those colleges right out of high school, or you can complete some studies in arts and science and then transfer over to those colleges. We also talked about these a little bit earlier. We have non-direct entry colleges, and they're up on the screen. So these are colleges that require prerequisites. Sometimes they require a full degree, interviews, volunteer experience, specialized tests like the medical college admissions test, the law school admissions test, so the MCAT and LSAT. So these are colleges that we offer at the University of Saskatchewan, but they require a little something extra to get into those colleges. We have on our website the requirements for these colleges, so please check that out. We also have, I think it's on the table out there, we have a little card with a QR code that you can take a picture of, and it'll take you to our website that has the prerequisites for these colleges as well.
Also, it's in our first year handbook, which you all have on your phones now. So, yeah. Sorry.
That's okay. Even though the colleges have the most up-to-date information, we also recommend that you meet with an academic advisor to talk about the different requirements. So residency requirements. So sometimes what that means for students is they come here with transfer credit and they want to get into one of our colleges. So if you're an Alberta student but you want to apply for the Saskatchewan seats, you need to make sure that you're considered a resident of Saskatchewan to be eligible to do so. Transfer credit, so that's another consideration. If you're transferring courses from another college, you need to see how that university, thank you, will accept those courses, and then average calculation. So that is, I'm sorry, I have to tell you guys, in my up and down, I put a hole in my shoe. So my Juan just brought me a pair of shoes. Yes, please.
Do you want to take over?
Really embarrassing. But average calculation. Yeah. So this comes into play if you have maybe retaken a course. So some colleges will consider a class retake differently than others. So arts and science has a policy, nursing will have a different policy, medicine will have a policy. So make sure you check in with those colleges' advisors to make sure you have the appropriate requirements to successfully get admitted to those colleges.
Okay. Pause. That's okay. That's okay. I can talk a little bit about pause. Yeah, I'll talk and you log in. So we're going to take you a little bit through pause. How many of you have accessed your pause at this point? Raise your hands really, really high. Okay, that's almost everybody. Excellent. That's awesome. Okay, so pause stands for, does anyone know what pause stands for? You'd get a big prize if you knew what pause stood for. Raise your hand if you know. No, I know, I didn't know for the longest time either. It stands for Personalized Access to Web Services. It doesn't really matter if you know what it stands for, but it actually does kind of help sometimes because what that indicates is that it's personalized for you. My pause is going to look very different from your pause, and Megan's pause is going to look different from anyone else's pause as well, because we all play a different role at the university, right? So I can't register for classes because I'm not an active student right now. Megan can because she is an active student. She's doing a graduate degree in the College of Education right now. You can access registration because you're active students, or you will be on the 15th. Or you'll be able to access registration on the 15th, I should say. So everyone's is going to look a little bit different, but pause is where you go for pretty much everything. And Megan's going to walk you through that.
All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is the registration channel, which we're going to be using for our registration demo, doesn't automatically come preloaded with your pause account. So what you'll need to do is in the search bar, you'll type in registration or something that looks pretty close to registration, and then you'll find it right here. So when you click on registration, the first thing you want to do is you want to add that to your favorites. So it'll show up on this menu here because you don't want to go looking for it all the time. So the first thing you'll see here, and we've already talked about this, is your registration date. So mine was on June 6th, but you should show something like June 15th at 9:30 in the morning, or if you're a transfer student, you'll have a different date. I have two hands.
I think that the answer to that would be to call, oh, I'm not on. Here, I've got it. Here we are. Okay, the answer to that question, if your date is, that would be the second year date, I think? I don't know. You have the wrong date, access date. What I would do is I would call Student Central. So that number is easy to remember. It's just 306-966-1212, and ask them what the reason is and if they can sort it out for you. Yeah.
The number also shows up on the registration channel down at the bottom as well.
Oh, perfect.
Cool. So the first thing we're going to do after we've noted our registration date is we're going to begin to search for classes. So we have two terms. Erin talked about this. We have 2019 fall term and 2020 winter term. We're building class schedules for term 1 and term 2 because both are registered for on the same day. We'll start with term 1, 2019. And I would like somebody to tell me a subject area. Yeah, psychology, cool. The first thing I'll show you, though, is we're going to go into that advanced search to get a few extra search options. Here is psychology. Do you know what course number you're looking for? Okay.
Wow.
That's specific. All right, I'll show you two things. We know that My new friend is looking for Psychology 120. You don't need to put in the 0.3. Or if she had no idea what psychology course she wanted to look for, we'll put in the number 1 and percent sign. That'll bring up all first-year courses in that subject area. So we'll do 120.
If you wanted second-year courses, what would you do? 2%. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right. And the next thing I want to specify here is because we're coming to the Saskatoon main campus, we'll specify so we don't accidentally register in an off-campus course. You may end up accidentally registering for something in PA, in Munster, and Yorkton, which is cool if you're attending those campuses, but if you're intending on staying in Saskatoon, you'll specify here. All right, we have lots of different psychology. Hello.
Ah, you can't see very well.
Is that better? Oh, good. That's easier than giving everybody glasses.
Or asking everyone to move forward.
All right. Cool. We're going to start here on the CRN side. So course reference numbers and CRN, that's what we're looking at. This is essentially the barcode of your class. So each class will have a CRN. This is what you need to know when you go to register for your classes. So we have Psychology 120, Section 1, but we have 03, 05, 61, and 63. So we have a lot of different psychology class times to choose from. These are all the identical class. They'll have the same learning objectives. They'll be offered on different days, different times, and different instructors. So here it is. We can highlight over the FK to make sure that we've chosen Saskatoon main campus. It's a 3-credit unit course. This is the title of our course. It is a lecture. Here are our days. So we have classes for 3 hours each week, either on Monday, Wednesday, Friday for 50 minutes. TR, so R stands for Thursday here, for an hour and 20 minutes. We don't have the option here, but if there's one letter, it's usually once a week for 3 hours. Our capacity, 350. Availability, still 350. TBA, instructor, but we have an instructor here. So instructors are often TBA because they're still in contract negotiations on who is going to teach each course. This can update any time throughout the summer. Your date of the term is September 4th. You'll finish December 5th, but don't make any travel plans. You're not going to Mexico just yet. You have a 3-week exam period that follows that you cannot make travel arrangements for until you know your exam schedule. Your location is Arts 143, and then attributes. The attributes will be important, and Linda will talk about this when she's here. We have some STM courses, so St. Thomas More courses have shown up here. So STM courses, if you're looking for them, I don't want to spoil Linda's presentation. They have sections between 60 and 79. They're offered in the STM building, and you'll see STM in the attributes. So if you're looking for STM classes, you'll find them this way.
How about are we going to do another class?
Yes.
Okay, how about, does anybody want to take a humanities class? We've looked at science programs. I see a hand over there. Which class do you want to take? Sorry? History, 145, that is pretty specific. That's excellent. You guys have done your research. How many of you already know what classes you're going to take or you're going to register for? Okay, so lots of this is redundant. That's really good. Okay, so you've just figured it out on your own. That's great. Hopefully this isn't too boring, and hopefully you'll get something new out of it too. That's good. Okay, history, 145.
So we're looking at history. I'm not specifying my search. If I type in history, Saskatoon main campus, and I do that class search, instead of listing everything, it'll list it based on subject. So in semester 1, history 145, we'll view the sections.
Relevant course.
All right, cool. So same thing over here on the CRN side of the screen. Here's your barcode, History 145. History 145, there's only one time to choose from, but I'll explain what we're looking at right now. We have a 3-credit course. Here's the title of the course. Lecture, so you have class Mondays and Wednesdays from 9:30 until 10:20, but I did promise that lectures or class times are 3 hours of lecture each week. So we have a little tag down here that says you must register in additional classes at the same time. If I click on that, it's giving us a seminar. So this is your 3rd hour of lecture each week. So class, it has 126 people, but they've broken up the seminar into a smaller, more discussion-based group. Yes? Oh.
Is it one lecture, one lab? There's only one section of the lab? Yep. Oh, that's unusual. Oh, psych. Oh, is it? Okay, yeah. Yeah, and yep. That should be good. You should be good on that. If you're trying to register into a class that has multiple seminars or multiple labs, it's also important to note that if there are multiple sections of the lecture, it doesn't matter which lecture you're in. You can register in any of the sections of the lab. So for biology, for example, there's a couple of different lecture sections and then a whole bunch of different lab sections, and you just basically mix and match, find the ones that work for you. In this case, though, with history, the seminar is going to hook up directly to the class, right? So you pick one of the seminars that goes with that particular lecture. Make sense? Oh, I'm looking at you. Does it make sense? Does it make sense to you, Megan? Okay. Okay.
All right. So for us to be able to successfully register in a history class with the seminar, you'll notice that they both have that barcode. We need one barcode for the class and one barcode for that seminar that we'd like to register for. I think that's it.
Yep. Let's go back and register now.
All right. So we're ready to register for June 15th. It's 9:30 in the morning. It's a Saturday. It's not too early. You're going to have your coffee and your breakfast nearby because it could take up to an hour to register. But so my term shows up because my registration date has come and gone. You will not be able to see anything past summer. You might not see anything at all. But once 9:30 comes, you'll be able to specify your 2019 fall term. So what you'll do is type in all your CRNs. So you have 10 boxes here.
I'll hold this for you.
Oh, I can do it.
Okay, you can do that with one hand?
I think so.
I'm impressed.
I've been training all my life for this.
Okay.
All right, so we have our history class. Oh, that's actual CRN. Don't do that. Oh, yeah, let's do it. Okay, history class, history lab. No, history seminar. Psychology. Somebody said Japanese. So well, Japanese has a tutorial. Somebody wants to register in biology.
I think they're on to you. Okay.
And here's my biology lab. So I put in all my CRNs for my classes, and I'll submit those changes. So mine will come back pretty quickly, but yours could take several minutes to load because you're registering with up to 2,000 plus students. So this is what happened. You caught me. I made up a whole bunch of CRNs, except for one was actually a CRN. So you'll get immediate feedback. So right at the top, I registered my final class for my master's. You'll see either registered by student on that day, or you'll get a bunch of registration errors like I did. So your registration errors, CRN doesn't exist. Time conflict, prerequisite error. You tried to register in a class, but you forgot the lab. What else?
I'm trying to think. Yeah, the time conflict is a big one. So when you're planning, which we're going to talk about next, you want to make sure that the system will know that you can't be in two places at once, right? So you want to make sure that you're not trying to register in two things. Oh, if there are seats in the class, but they're reserved for different cohorts.
Yes.
Yeah, you might get an error, something like there are 0 seats remaining in this class, although it'll say that there actually are seats remaining in the class. I'm not sure. I think that's about it. So those are the kinds of errors you'll get. And if you get an error and you can't interpret it, if you have a hard time understanding it, there are supports available to you. So one of them is Student Central. Another one you should know about for Saturday is the undergraduate student office in the College of Arts and Science. We will have people working on Saturday to answer questions, answer phone and email questions. Yep. So we are here for you. Yeah, I think that's good. So does that make sense for the most part? Is registration pretty clear? Yep. Okay, what do you do if you drop a class, Megan? Oh. Because I think that's important. Remember, when can you drop a class by in order? September 17th. Excellent, good. I'm just drilling it into your minds for a reason. And one of the reasons is, yeah, so that you know when you can add drop classes. But it's also important to know that if you want to drop a class past the 17th, there is another date. There are 3 more dates. There's a date where you can drop it by and receive 75% of your tuition back. And you would just get a W on your transcript. That's no academic penalty. There's a date when you can drop it and get 50% tuition back, no academic penalty. There's a date when you can drop it and get 0 tuition back, but no academic penalty. And that is super important to remember in your first year especially, well, all throughout university, because I don't think I know anyone who went through university that didn't have one bad class. It happens to almost everyone. And so there's nothing to be upset about or ashamed of or anything like that. You just drop the class if you didn't pass the midterm exam or if you don't feel like you're going to pass the class. It's better to drop it than to have a failing grade on your transcript. So know those dates, not just the 17th, but all of the subsequent dates so that you're prepared should something come up. Okay, that's my spiel, sorry.
Cool. So if your plans change and you want to get out of a class, maybe you realize your friend is in the other psychology class and wants to be with your friends. Under this action, you're going to highlight drop class. I'm not going to drop my class, but if I wanted to, I would go in and submit those changes, and it would disappear from my class list.
Okay, perfect. Moving on. Okay, so I don't actually have any of these printed out, but there's a question. Sorry, yes. Yes. You can register in classes all the way up until the 17th of September, that last date to add and drop. However, lots of classes are going to fill up, right? Some of the most popular classes are going to be full within the first couple of hours, days, for sure. Prior to next week, what I would recommend you do is find this class schedule worksheet online. You can find them on our website under New Students. And print it out. I mean, this is me. I'm old school. Get a pencil made of wood. And actually fill in where your classes are going to fall, right? On the Monday, Wednesday, Friday, the Tuesday, Thursday. Maybe you have a lab for 3 hours on Monday evening. Maybe you have a Saturday class. They exist. It's hard, but actually it's, you have flexibility. Pencil it all in. Pencil it all in for each term. And then print another one and do Plan B. Plan A and Plan B for Term 1 and Term 2. I would say that this is going to take you at least a couple of days to get sorted. I'm guessing a lot of you have already gotten started by deciding on that you want to take History 145 or Biology 120 or Psychology 120 or whatever the case might be, which is good. But I want you to get this all kind of sorted before 9 a.m. on the 15th so that you're just popping in CRNs and clicking Submit, and you're not super stressed on that day. We have a question. Sure, yeah. Let's do it.
So when we register for classes on Saturday, are we registering for both fall and winter term, or just the fall term?
Both terms. Both terms. Term 1 and Term 2, also known as fall and winter term.
And then when would we register for like spring and summer classes if we're going to do that?
Not until February.
Okay.
So you won't even know what's on offer for spring, summer until about January and February, but mid-February is when you can usually register for spring, summer classes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Good. So yeah, a reiteration, both terms, Plan A and Plan B. Oh, another question. Good.
Sorry, I have a question that you may or may not be able to answer.
Sure.
I'm just wondering, what is different for the university transition programs?
Yeah.
You can take 3 classes, so would you then talk to a university advisor about taking spring, summer classes, or
you will definitely be in touch with specific advisors, Paul or Catherine, to be specific. We will talk a little bit about UTran. Absolutely, you would be meeting with advisors pretty regularly through the UTran program, and you'll get to know one of them pretty well. And yeah, you'd be talking with them about spring, summer classes for sure.
And can I ask you what specifically is different? What
about
makes
spring,
it
summer?
Different?
About UTran?
Going into UTran, whereas actually just
we'll talk a little bit about UTran in a few minutes. Yeah, we will. And we can also talk afterwards as well. Yeah.
We have another question.
Okay.
My question is there like specific base classes that you have to take in your first year for each general?
No, well, you have to take classes that you're interested in.
Okay.
That's what I would say. You have to find classes that you're interested in. And the reason why I say that isn't just frivolous, right? There's a real reason to that. If you take a class that you're interested in, you're much more likely to do well in it. And if you're doing well in your first year, you're much more likely to do well in your second year and your third year and get a degree. And that's an important thing to keep in mind. It doesn't matter what you ultimately want to do. You have to take at least one class that you really, really are interested in. That's my advice. Other classes, you want to take a breadth in your first year. So you want to take some science, some social science, some humanities. You want to take a breadth of courses. If you have a major in mind, do you have a major in mind? What is it? Computer science. You're going to want to take 2 computer science classes in your first year as well. The prerequisites to your major requirements. If you don't have a major in mind, don't freak out. It's okay. By taking classes you're interested in, you're getting yourself ready. Yes, another question. Yes.
Hi. Can you take first year classes in your second year?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. And in fact, there's a cap on how many first year classes you can take throughout your entire degree, but you don't have to worry about that right now. That's a good question for an advisor either after the session or down the road. You're going to want to meet with an academic advisor at least once a year. But I think we should pause on questions. We're going to move on with the presentation, or do we have one more question?
Yeah, we do.
We do? Okay. Okay. I'm a sucker. Let's one more question, and then we'll get back to the presentation. I promise you we'll have time for questions after too. Okay.
Okay, so the major that I'm kind of interested in is non-directed. So pretend if I was interested in becoming a pharmacist, how would I choose my classes based on that? Because I'm trying to look for it here, and it's not really giving me any like details.
Details. And what are you looking? Where are you looking at? The first year handbook?
Yeah, or like what classes that I can take that can like help me lead to.
Are you looking at the pharmacy and nutrition website?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay, so the first year handbook does have some information on classes you would need to get into professional colleges, as we mentioned. So that first year handbook that we originally asked you to download onto your phone has a lot of information. If you can't find it there and you can't find it on the College of Pharmacy and Nutrition's website, see an academic advisor. Best advice. But search around for it. Let's look at the college website, the college that you're aiming for, and look through that first year handbook. I really challenge you to use that. It's a 63-page document, but it's searchable. So if you have a specific question, the answer is probably in there. Okay, let's move on quickly. Where are we at with time here? Oh, we're okay. Okay. I want to go back to a sample schedule. Can you all see this, kind of? No. Can you zoom in a bit? You can't zoom into a slide. Of course you can't. Okay. Not much. Okay, the main thing that you have to note here is all the green indicates times when you're in class, right? This is your Monday to Friday. We don't have any Saturday classes. This is a it's a sample schedule. But what you're going to see here is that you have your chemistry on Monday, Wednesday, Friday morning, your math immediately after that on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. English is Tuesday, Thursday. Biology is also Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but there's a big gap between math and biology. You have your math lab on Monday and your biology lab on Monday afternoon/evening. You have a philosophy class on Tuesday, Thursday. You have your bio and chem labs on Wednesday. No, sorry, just your chem. What is that, a lab? What is that? Yeah, your chem lab on Wednesday. And then there's also this XTLC. That's a learning community hour. So if you were signing up for a learning community, which we are going to talk about. Actually, first of all, how many of you are signed up for a learning community right now? Some, no, but not all. So we're going to talk about learning communities. We're definitely going to have time for that. If you were signed up for a learning community, it puts you into a set of classes that you take with a small group of people. And once a week you meet with some fantastic senior students, peer mentors, who kind of help you adapt to university life and give you tips and tricks and all kinds of skills that you need, help you with the skills that you need. And that's in your LC hour. So that's also on the schedule. The student was in a learning community. What you're going to notice when you're looking at the sample schedule is that this student does not have a part-time job. Because as soon as you add in 2 to 3 hours for every hour that's represented on the schedule, that is more than a full-time job, right? Right there. And if this student had a part-time job as well on top of it, they probably wouldn't have much room left for self-care. And I mean, some people are different. Everybody has a different capacity. For me, I would burn out. I would burn out after a year of going at this pace. So know yourself. Don't overdo it. That's a lot. That's a heavy, heavy schedule. And so you're just going to want to do that. Like what I would do is I would block off those extra hours that I need to spend in the library, reading my textbooks in preparation, doing my lab assignments, writing my essays, studying for exams, etc. That's good enough. Go. What's that? Okay, I don't think she's coming down. We also want to mention briefly, is everybody here planning on coming to the Saskatoon main campus to study? Is anybody not going to come? Okay, just to know, we do have partnerships with regional colleges all over the province. So if you are from one of these areas, you could actually do university courses at one of the regional colleges. But we're just going to move on since most of you are coming here. First year learning communities. All right, Megan, take it away.
I'm so excited that so many of you are registered in a learning community. I am here to promote learning communities, and hopefully every single person leaves with the intent on registering for one. We have 3 different learning communities programs in the College of Arts and Science. Our largest is the first year learning experience. My boss named it after the Ford Flex. So just think of Ford Flex learning communities. Indigenous Student Achievement Pathways, that is an opt-in program for Indigenous students. And we have the University Transition Program that we'll talk a little bit more about. So generally, learning communities is a small group of about 25 students who are taking common courses. So those courses could be, I'll show them to you actually, but they could be a common set of 2, 3, 4 courses. And then students will meet once a week in a learning communities hour. So that hour is led by 2 upper year students. I have 3 peer mentors in the audience, Juan, Brenna, and Jocelyn. They're all LC peer mentors. So you would be meeting with 2 peer mentors who will help you ease that transition to that first term of university. So learning communities are built on 3 pillars. So building community. Did anybody come from out of town today? There you go. Reason number 1 to join a learning community, you will have 25 instant friends. And 2 upper year peer mentors, 27 instant friends. That's really cool. So you'll be in there building community. It'll be a great opportunity if you miss class and say, hey friends, I missed biology and I need those notes because the midterm is coming up. Or, you know, you want to study for a midterm, and group study is a good way to learn content. Maybe you're struggling in that math class, you know, you and I'll teach each other. So you have 25 instant friends to help you out. We explore careers, so our learning communities in the College of Arts and Science are thematic in terms of careers. So we have learning communities for students interested in exploring their options, interested in the biomedical sciences, interested in psychology and nursing, all those learning communities. And then we enrich academics. So the peer mentors will guide you through sessions on how to study for multiple choice tests, or, you know, what's the best way to manage my stress.
Yeah. Or how to cite MLA style or something like that. Well, they'll at least point you in the right direction, right? Okay.
So overall, they're a great way to meet friends. It's a close-knit learning environment, and you have peer mentors who will guide you through. So yeah, learning communities, the Flex learning communities specifically, will close June 12th at midnight. So if you're interested in registering for those, please go on the website and you can sign up through the website.
Hey Megan, why is it June 12th? Why do they close on June 12th?
Because registration is June 15th.
And when you sign up for a learning community, you get automatically registered in the classes that are associated with that learning community. So it makes registration a little bit easier as well. Okay.
So the Flex learning communities are available to all first-year students. They're designed to complement programs. We give you seats in popular first-year classes, so the classes that will fill up within the first couple of days of registration, your biology, your chemistry, Indigenous Studies, English, and psychology. In the College of Arts and Science, we have 22 first-year learning experience LCs, and then we have 13 in Term 2, so if you love us so much, you can carry on Term 1 and Term 2. We also have learning communities for those students who are going to be living in residence. So if you don't want the classes, but you still want that close-knit community, we have learning communities for international students, for STM students.
We have a mature student learning community as well for students who are not coming straight out of high school.
So we have something for everybody.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry. That's it. I'm done.
Okay.
We had a question in the audience about the University Transition Program. Yeah. So this is a program for students who don't meet the regular admission average into the College of Arts and Science. So what that really means is their high school grades don't reflect their true potential as in the College of Arts and Science. So it's a program for students who are, I don't know, 17 to 21. And students register also in a learning communities model. So their learning communities are on the website. You would register in 1 learning community per semester, so 3 classes in one, 3 classes in the other. You complete your 18 credit units, and then you're eligible to transfer in to second year arts and science. So at the university transition program, first year arts and science, all first year classes, you would see no difference other than you are restricted to 3 classes per semester.
And they have to be classes that go with the university transition program learning community. So we'll look, we can talk about that afterwards if you have specific questions. Also good to note though, for anyone who has a friend that they went to school with who really wanted to go to university and thought that they couldn't because they didn't quite make the entrance average, university transition program is something that you should tell your friends, tell that friend about. It's an opportunity to get into the university system and get yourself ready to go on to second year. Okay. Now we're going to look at the ISAP program. Yeah, come on down. Perfect. Jocelyn's going to talk us through a little bit of this. So this is the Indigenous Student Achievement Pathways program.
So I was actually a peer mentor for the ISAP program last year. So what it is all those great things that Megan was explaining about with learning communities, we've just taken a more Indigenous specific approach to them. So what it is again, it's small class sizes dedicated to about 30 students. The nice thing about those classes is that they all have a very specific sort of Indigenous lens to them. So a lot of the instructors are Indigenous themselves as well. So obviously it is only open to self-identified Indigenous students, so you don't actually have to self-declare within PAWS to register, but just as long as you self-identify. Through ISAP, we also have our STEM courses. So unfortunately for this year, they are only open to Indigenous students. But if you have friends or if you personally yourself don't have your 30-level physics, chemistry, bio, we do offer 90-level courses that are the equivalent. But it's essentially the same thing where we run an hour a week where we teach you sort of skills to get you through university. We also have year-end parties, and then a Jeopardy. We hosted a Jeopardy to help you study for finals last year. So that's sort of what ISAP is. If you want to go to the next slide.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks.
So we have sort of streamlined our learning communities into 3 different streams. So Star Blanket is the social sciences, Willow Hoop is fine art and humanities, and then Medicine Wheel is for the sciences. So within those, you can be in Star Blanket 1 and 2. So the first one in the first term, second one in the second term. Same thing with Willow Hoop, Medicine Wheel. And then we also have some second year learning communities as well, so maybe something to look into next year if you're afraid of continuing on your own. Yes. So the nice thing is that if it sort of works within the different learning communities, you can sort of do either. If you need it for your degree, something that you struggle with might be nice because we have some extra supports and we have specific tutorial hours as well for those classes. But it's also kind of nice to join something that you really enjoy because then you're going to be in a class with a bunch of students that are very like-minded, right? So it's really up to you and whatever you sort of want to do with that. Cool. That's ISAP.
Perfect. Thanks. Oh, what's going on here? Oh, and the STEM Accelerator. Oh, yeah, you talked about those classes. Okay. Okay, we have one more activity.
Okay. So I want you to go, again, to that extremely large URL, at home included. Go into that URL. Look at all the different learning communities that we're offering. And
find one that fits your interest.
Are they sharing?
Sharing your reasons. Yeah, we're gonna. Well, we'll make a call out for sharing your reasons for choosing one learning community, and we have some prizes. And for those who aren't with us, like actually in this room today, I shouldn't say those who aren't with us today. That sounds a bit morbid. For those who aren't in the room today, but who are with us, share your reasons for choosing a particular learning community with each other online. Oh, that comment just popped up. Decline. Yes, I know to decline this now. Okay, yeah. So once you have found a learning community that you would want to join, or if you have already joined a learning community and you found, okay, raise your hand, excellent, there we go, we've got some hands, all right. Megan, take the microphone into the audience, there we go. We only have 2 minutes, Megan, so
okay.
Not even like 1 minute.
Talk real fast.
I'm Courtney. I joined the transition program. I got accepted into there.
Awesome.
And I forget what group I signed up for the terms, but that's the one I chose.
So it's 3 classes. Excellent. Perfect.
Thank you.
Yep. Oh, we've got lots of hands. Awesome.
My name's Brett. I applied for Flex 14 and got in, and it is biochem physics because it's for microbiology, immunology. It applies for mine a lot, and yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so if you're already in a learning community, put your hand down. We want to hear from people who aren't in one, who plan to sign up for one.
Brett, your peer mentor, Juan, that's your bro over there. Talk to him after.
Hello. Hi. I'm looking at Flex 07 for...
Oh, somebody's leaning against the light. Don't lean against the light switch. Sorry. Hang on.
I'm looking at Flex 07
Lighting.
for computer science and mathematics because that's what I'm interested in.
Somebody's leaning right on the light switch there. Okay, okay, good. Hang on. Oh my gosh. Okay, hang on, guys. Sorry. We want presentation mode.
I'm interested in Flex 03, art and architecture, because I just really like art.
Are you going to sign up?
Yeah.
Good.
Oh, nice. Flex 03. Awesome.
I've got
Art and
prizes.
architecture. That's
you want
great.
to keep talking?
Okay, no, that's it. Yeah, that's it. I'm glad some of you are thinking about learning communities now. That's wonderful. We're nearing the end. We have a few more things to talk about here. Thanks for your patience. We want to just stress academic advising. So a couple of things that you don't want to forget about that we've talked about today. But if you do have a question, we want you to go and see an academic advisor. We have advisors here today for afterwards, but there are also advisors available to you in the undergraduate student office in arts and science, you know, Monday to Friday, 9 till noon and 1 till 4. We also have evening advising throughout June as well. So if you're still in high school, there are some evening spots as well. We want you to see an advisor at least once a year. I've already mentioned that. Because advisors help you learn strategies to choose your major, okay? They also help you with understanding the requirements of your degree. They help you to choose courses that satisfy program requirements, including towards non-direct entry colleges. They help you to identify and explore your academic and career goals, help you develop strategies to improve your grades, and identify and explore barriers to learning because sometimes they exist and they crop up in university for the first time. We hope that students see an advisor, like I said, once a year, but we also want you to take advantage of other supports on campus as well, which we'll talk about down the road. This is the information for academic advising in the undergraduate student office and Trish Montour Center for Student Success, both of which are in arts, the arts building on the 2nd floor. Take a picture. There's also a little stand-up info poster on your way out that you can take a picture of as well that has all of the information on it.
UTran goes to TMC.
Yes, yeah, for anyone in the UTran program, University Transition Program, you're going to want to direct your questions to the Trish Montour Center for Student Success. That's where Paul and Catherine, your UTran advisors, are located. Okay. For anyone, I should also mention, for anyone who's interested in ISAP, so any of those ISAP options, the Indigenous Student Achievement Program, also you're going to want to direct your inquiries to the Trish Montour Center for Student Success, and you're going to want to talk to either Milo or Chanel, our Indigenous student advisors. Okay. Okay. Are we on to SPM? Finally, Linda.
All right.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. So I'm going to jump in here for a little bit. So my name is Linda, and I'm an academic advisor at St. Thomas More College. So St. Thomas More College is a federated college with the University of Saskatchewan, which means we're very close-knit. We're very connected with the university. So we're actually physically right here on campus. So this picture is actually the view from Place Riel, so where all the buses come in. We're also completely academically integrated, which means that every single thing that we offer is going towards your University of Saskatchewan education. So no matter which program you're choosing, you can choose to add some of our classes to your schedule to satisfy maybe some of your humanities or social science requirements. So we kind of function like an extension of arts and science, and that's because we have an additional 250 course options in 18 different areas of arts and science. And as I mentioned, they're in social sciences and humanities. So these classes are open to all students. Thank you for switching the slide over. So these classes are open to all students, and there's some reasons why students really like to take our classes. So the classes tend to be small in size, which is really great for getting to know your professor, your peers, asking questions in class. We also have a lot of unique course options, so things that aren't offered anywhere else but STM. And the classes, they're the same cost, same credit, and going towards your degree the same. You also register for them the same way. So earlier you saw when Megan was showing you on pause how to pick classes. In the right-hand column, it'll say St. Thomas More College class. So yeah, again, right here. So you can see the location, you can see the section number. So those are all hints to show you that it's an STM class. We do a number of other really cool things at St. Thomas More College. We have a lot to do with social justice. So if you're interested in making changes in the world, this is a really great place to do that. So we have what's called community service learning options. So this is where you actually get outside of the classroom, apply what you're learning to a real world situation with our community partners. So this might be a psychology of aging class where you're actually working with elderly citizens living in a group home, or maybe you're helping to write comic books with disadvantaged youth for an English class. These are things that you have the option to do that are very, very unique. We also have non-curricular versions of those, so we actually work with you to find volunteer placements that help meet your goals, and we do reflection activities. So for students that are interested in professional colleges like medicine and law, that's a really popular, essentially student group to get involved with. We also have a lot of really unique study abroad program, and we kind of term it Beyond the Beach. So these programs, it's more than just going to another country and studying in a university in that place. You're actually living with and learning from the communities there in places like Panama, Ukraine, Ecuador, and the Dominican Republic. So we have community partners there where you're actually living in small villages with people who live there all the time, doing some really unique learning opportunities. I see a question.
I've actually was looking at the Ukrainian one for the spring fall option of going out there and doing your 15 credits, whatever, with language and culture. How would we get into doing that? Do you need to meet with an advisor at St. Thomas More like early on, or?
Okay, so most of our study abroads are for students in their second year or up, just because you've already got used to university, or just so that you're in university, you have some of that experience before you can go and do some of these experiences. And you would talk with our engaged learning coordinator. So just pop into the office at STM and we can direct you for future information. And you can also find all of that on our website, stmcollege.ca. And also I want to share with you guys an additional option. So all students are welcome to take our classes, join our student groups, hang out in a really cool building. We've just done some big renovations. But for arts and science students, you guys have a unique opportunity to self-declare as a St. Thomas More College student. Essentially, this gives you dual citizenship status. You're still an arts and science student pursuing an arts and science degree, but you also have access to some of our additional benefits. Things like our $180,000 of stackable scholarships. Access to our unique student services. So we do our own separate orientation. We also have our own learning community that you can get involved with. That one is unique because it actually isn't tied to classes. So if there's not a learning community that fits with exactly what you want to take, you can sign up for the STM learning community, get all the benefits of the LC hour without having to worry about it matching the class choices that you want to do. So all you have to do to become a St. Thomas More College student is to look on our channel on pause. So search for St. Thomas More College and then click a button to self-declare. It's that easy, and there's a lot of really great benefits. You're not obligated to do anything. It just gives you more choices to customize your time here on campus. So I will be hanging around afterwards too to help answer questions, and I'd like to talk to anyone who's interested in St. Thomas More College, and I'm going to hand it back over to Megan.
Yep. Actually, I think Student Wellness Center. So you've already heard from Peter Headley, so everyone should know what the Student Wellness Center is, right? Does everyone know? What are some of the things that you would go to the Student Wellness Center for? Does anyone have an idea? Yes? An injury? Yes, yeah, because there are doctors there, absolutely. What other reasons might you go? Yeah. Mental health, absolutely, yep. One thing that often doesn't get noted, which I always tell students, I don't know if Peter mentioned this, but During exam time, if you get really stressed out and you need a massage, they have massage therapists there, and it's pretty cheap. And also, I think like 80% of it is covered by your USSU health coverage. So yeah, if you ever need a massage or a physiotherapist or anything like that, it's all at Student Wellness. How about Student Learning Services? How many of you have heard of Student Learning Services? All right, good. Student Learning Services is located in the Murray Library. It's on the first floor, which is actually the second floor, because the first floor is the ground floor. It's silly that way. Just think of it as find the Starbucks on campus, and it's right above the Starbucks. So on the first floor of the Murray Library, you're going to see a Math and Stats Help Center, which is a very useful place to know about. If you're ever in a math or stats class or a psych stats class or whatever, and you are struggling with that class, you can go and sit down in the Math and Stats Help Center if there's room and do your homework, and as questions come up, you raise your hand and a tutor, usually a grad student, comes by and helps you out. So there's the Math and Stats Help Center. There's also the Writing Help Center, another really fantastic resource. If you are writing an essay and you really need a second set of eyes on it, you can submit an essay to the Writing Center online and indicate what you want help with. Maybe it's writing a thesis statement, maybe it's, maybe it's just proofreading, or maybe you want somebody to check for APA citation style. Whatever the case might be, you can submit it online and get it back. I think it's a couple of days return. You can also go into the Writing Center and meet with a tutor and talk with them about any struggles that you're having with the writing process. In addition, there are study skills that the Student Learning Center, Student Learning Services provides help with. So what we've noticed from the research literature on transition to university is that students are usually coming to university lacking two main skills: the ability to take good notes in class, and I think part of that is encouraged because a lot of professors have PowerPoint slides, and so students think they don't need to take notes. Not true. You need to take notes. The second skill that seems to be lacking is the ability to manage time, and that's a no-brainer. You haven't had to do it in this way before, usually, most of you. So managing time, time management, different strategies for taking notes effectively in class. There are resources to help you to learn those skills and get those skills and become an expert learner. They are housed, many of them online, many of them through peer mentors at the Student Learning Services and through staff that work there as well. Okay. So good to know about that, above the Starbucks in the Murray Library. Access and Equity Services. This is where I got tripped up. Why would you go to Access and Equity Services? Has everybody heard of Access and Equity Services? Yeah, why would you go there? Yeah. Learning disabilities? Yep. Any other reasons? Sorry? Physical disabilities? Yep. Yep. Mental health issues? Yep, that's right. What if you were studying for a final exam and one weekend you were just taking a mental health break, say, and you went, I don't know, on a hike and you tripped and sprained your wrist, your right wrist, and you're right-handed? You'd go to Access and Equity Services, right? Because even if it's a temporary disability that it prevents you from being able to complete the exam, there are accommodations in place for you. So know about Access and Equity Services, and know that they're there to help you through any hiccups that might happen along the way, okay? I think that's it for student services. This is what we've covered. Lots. We've covered a lot, and we did it in a timely fashion today, which is awesome. So we actually have some time for questions here, I believe. So any additional questions can be answered now, and also we'll continue to answer questions outside of the theater when we're completely done. We even have a few gifts for questions for people who are brave enough to answer questions here today. So, do we have a question up there? Yeah. Okay. Megan's getting her exercise today.
Okay. Where do we buy books? How do we know what books to buy and when?
Oh, beautiful question. Thank you. And that's a good one for everyone to hear the answer to. You can buy books through the bookstore is probably, well, that's the most common place to buy books. That said, this is a little tip, a little trick. If you buy books ahead of the class day, ahead of your first day of classes, don't open them. Don't unwrap them, don't open them, because You might want to drop that class or switch into a different section that uses a different textbook. Or you might get to the class and find out, actually, I don't actually need this textbook. It was just recommended. It wasn't required. For any of those reasons, you're going to want to be able to return that $100+ textbook to the bookstore. Another strategy is to not buy textbooks until after you've been to class for the first day. After you get your syllabus and you see exactly what the readings are, what you need to do for the class, what are required books and what are recommended books, whether or not you can get an older edition of a textbook, and that's just fine, because if it is, you could probably find the older edition used at a used bookstore. So there are some things to consider there, because textbooks are a huge expense for sure. You can go ahead and order them in advance through the bookstore. I think it's all through PAWS, right? You can even have them delivered to your home, wherever that might be. But like I said, don't unwrap them until you're absolutely committed to that class, until after September 17th. Well, you'll need them for September, until after you've decided for sure that you're going to take that class. Let's put it that way. But definitely use them once you buy them. Yeah. Okay. Once you're in the class. Yeah.
If we're planning on buying a laptop, I've heard there's a USask Apple store, but I don't really actually know how that works.
Megan, do you know the answer to that? Or Bev, do you know? What's that? The Apple store? Okay. It's in the bookstore. Okay.
Do you want headphones? The backpack where...
Yeah.
Do you want the backpack?
Oh, that's a good point. Okay, I'll repeat that. September 6th is the homecoming football game. As students, you do pay a certain fee, a Huskies athlete fee, and what that permits you is access to any of the games. So you should go to the homecoming game or any other game. Oh, and access to the pack, thank you. Yep, to the rock climbing wall or yoga class or whatever the case might be. Yep.
Hi, how many places can we study abroad?
Oh, that's a good question. There are so many, I don't even think I could put a number on it. There are lots and lots of options. I would say go abroad, like USask, search the USask website, search on the search bar, go abroad, and there will be a map that pops up that shows you all of the different institutions that we have partnerships with, and it's pretty much anywhere. Most places in the world you could study. Yeah. Not every place is going to have English language instruction, but many of them will, and all of that is on the website. Yeah. One more question, and then we're going to wrap it up here and move out there. Oh, sorry, Megan. 3 of them. I don't know how to...
Oh, God. Okay, what number am I thinking of? Between 1 and 10.
Just pick one, Megan. We don't have much time. Okay.
Howdy. Hi. Okay, so my question is, I'm studying computer science, but I also want to have a side career. I'm looking at this. Is that possible? Is that going to affect my career thing if I also said? Yeah.
What is it? What is this? Oh, Greystone Singers. Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. That'll help you. That'll help you along the way. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Wonderful. That's awesome. Okay, so we're going to continue answering questions out in the hallway, but I do want to just thank you all very much for coming and sticking with us for this long hour and a half. Take care. Hi. I believe people who are interested in residency stay here because these guys aren't going to talk with you. Are we okay for time? No, you're good? Okay, good. Oh, this is still on.
This right here is my sports fans. We're the greatest people. Sick in the head, but we're the best. Because if there's a winner and a loser, we will turn it into a party, man. Any competition. It could be rock, paper, scissors. It could be the NBA Finals. It could be a spelling bee. We're going to turn it into a beautiful moment. So shout out to Aki DJ and that word for Stock League. That was one of the best moments of the year. Sports Center top 10. I'm not here to condone underage drinking, but I do not see it going on the video because everyone in the video looks like they're